Hello everyone. What I have to show you today is what I like to call the ocean airlock. Now there are a few mods that have gone into this, but the main one is Applied Energistics or Applied Energistics 2. So by way of demonstration, as you can see, that closes up with no evidence that it's there whatsoever. And then if we hit it again, the pylons extend, the airspace is created and they retract and it all gets hidden again. So the way this works is it uses Applied Energistics spatial storage. So we've got our ME system here, our ME cables. That's an ME controller. If you're using AE1, that'll look very different. The cables don't need to connect here because the pylons are going to extend there and join in and connect up into the system. So we have 4 drawbridges at the corners with the pylons inside. 8 is enough for this instance. The number of pylons you need, it has to extend from 1 block below the lowest point of water to 1 block above the water's surface. And if you're doing this in the seabed or in a river or something, watch out for sand. So that's how many you need. It needs to be 1 more than the extent of the water in each direction. And they all need to be the same. And then also connected into the ME system is the spatial I/O port with a storage cell. This has a transfer node and a pipe so that when the cell moves into there it gets pulled out and put straight back into there. If you don't have extra utilities, you can use Buildcraft pipes, you could use AE import and export, you could even use hoppers and droppers if you really wanted to. You just have to do more circuitry. So the basic principle of how this works is that when a signal comes in, which in this case is from wireless, it doesn't need to be wireless, when a signal comes in, it triggers the drawbridges to extend. Once the pylons are at their full length, it'll take a moment for the system to recognise them, then they'll join into the system, at which point the I/O is triggered to store the water in the seabed within the pylons, which is what creates the hole. And then, after an extremely short delay to allow it to do that, the pylons then retract. And then the way it covers up is there are just more drawbridges here which have dirt in them and are disguised as dirt. Now, what you can do when you first set this up, if you want to, is you can put in something like this. You can put in a wall. So what this will do is cause problems at the moment. But if you put in a wall like this all the way around so that you don't have the water going in, these covers here are to catch the water that comes in at the edges. You don't need those if you do a wall like this. Oops. And note that this wall goes down to the seabed level but not lower. So you can put this in. You see, the beauty of spatial storage is if there's something already in the space, what will happen is it'll store that in the same cell that it's put stuff out of. So that should swap back. Perfect. And then if we do it again, it should put the walls back in. So you can do that if you want to, if you don't want the water flowing down the sides. So, let's look at the circuitry. This is where the signal comes in. You don't necessarily need a signal coming in, you can just click on that directly because it's a toggle latch. If you don't have ProjectRed in your mod pack, then you can use normal redstone, it'll just be a bit bulkier. So this is a toggle which can be a T flip-flop. you've got an input line here where the signal comes in, you've got an input line here which is a feedback loop, and you've got the output here. You do not want to use this output ordinarily. You can use it, I'll come back to that in a moment. So what happens is, this goes up here, it goes into these drawbridges, which extend the pylons, that's straight away. It also then comes into a delay. The length of this delay depends on how tall the pylons are. The taller the pylons, the longer it'll take them to extend, the more delay you need. This delay needs to be at least as long as the time it takes the pylons to extend and activate as they join into the system. After that delay, it comes into another very short delay here, which goes into the I/O port, so that triggers that. Also coming off here is a longer delay, so that's got time to trigger, which then comes back into this feedback loop and turns that back off. This also branches off into another delay here. The length of this delay again depends on the pylons. It's going to be about half of this delay, because it retracts faster than it extends. This goes into another toggle latch or a T flip-flop, which goes along here, and this comes into the drawbridges that put the dirt blocks over the holes. So the point of that delay is to make sure that they've fully retracted before they try and extend. The other side of this latch, the other input, goes around also to this output, so that that turns off and they retract before these try to extend, which is also very important, otherwise these won't extend, the pylons won't go up. You do not want any delay there. Now what you can do here, if you do want to use the lower input here, is you can use it as long as you put in a NOT gate. Now if you do this with normal redstone, bear in mind that a redstone torch has a delay, so you would have to account for that. One other thing to bear in mind with this system is you do not want to be between the pylons when the I/O port activates, because the thing with spatial storage is that it can store players. I'm now inside the spatial storage, and I have no way out, which it probably won't because the chunk isn't loaded. So yeah, don't be between the pylons when it activates, it doesn't end well. Anyway, that's it for this showcase and tutorial. If you've enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like, share, favourite and comment, help support the channel. Follow me on Twitter to stay up to date with what's going on. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you if I ever manage to get out of here. Oh well, there's an easy way to do it. Bye guys.